Hey, gang. I just realized I forgot my hat. I look a mess. Wow. I don't know if I can do this. Ah, oh well, you don't have to see my face all that often. Ah, it is a lovely day for some smithing. Hey, Garrett and Christy. Hey, Alexis. How goes it? Let's go here. Remind me this afternoon. Oh, that's right. I forgot to tell that camera to do anything. Fix that, because that's important. That camera, without that camera, we don't have a show. A really big shoe. All right, let's try this again. We go over here. We go over here. We make sure we're pointed in the right place. I have not even started a fire because I wanted to play with this new coal I got. It's a different kind of coal than I'm used to. In the, guffawing faces of my adoring audience. Don't breathe while drinking. Check. Yes, my hair is very floofy this morning. That's what I get for not bothering to look in the mirror this morning before coming out to meet with y'all. I got up, I threw on my my overalls. I went and took care of animals, and I came out here. So, you are seeing me when Z, and now I'm trying to goof everything up. All right. Yes, top of the head is just as curly as a stash. What's really funny is my whole life I thought I had perfectly straight hair. And it was mainly because my hair will do whatever the hell it is told to do up until it hits the humidity. And then it becomes a lovely wavy, sometimes curly, just mess. So I typically wear a hat out here. That way if any sparks fly, my hair doesn't catch on fire. My beard's okay. I don't mind if my beard catches fire, right? I got plenty of that. But I don't have that much hair. So, Rob, how are you doing, Mr. Robert? Shane, hello, hello. We got Jeff. Hey, Jeff. And then there's the Rob from overseas. The Rob with the more interesting accent for us Americans. Let's see. So, you see that I have framed up in the camera the forge. How did it do that? I have no idea. Huh? That's weird. Hold on. I have never seen it flip the image. Image is right over here. Let's plug that back in again. Okay. What the heck? How is it doing that? Ben's been in here playing with my tech. It's got to be it. Do 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 do. Sources. Do 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 do. Properties. Okay. Discard. Properties. How the heck did it do that? There's no way that it's not that. Computers, man. Hey, Tia. Happy New Year. Hey, Steven. Both of you jumping on here. How wonderful. I have no idea how in the world that camera got flipped. Let's go to the other scene and see if it's that way over here. No, it's not. So it's just something to do with this. There's no filter. Properties don't give any reason why it would be. That is so weird. Transform. Rotate 90 degrees. No, rotate 180. There we go. Somewhere along the way, I must have accidentally hit rotate 180. We're good. All right. Sitting next to each other, chatting with me. That's beautiful. Thank you. All right. So, my lovely wife got me a Christmas Yule gift of a box of coal. How awesome is that? So today, I want to play with that coal, even though it's too cold to be out here using anything other than the gas forge. I just want to play with that coal. So, come on. Rubber band is not cooperating with me this morning. Let's put it over this way and see if that makes it work. There we go. Now, to do that, we just have to start from fresh and just get this fire started. Let's get it started in here. All right. First things first. Get some charcoal going, because, you know, charcoal stay lit even when I don't turn the crank. In case there's anybody in here that doesn't know anything about blacksmithing and coal versus charcoal. Let's go ahead and switch over so we can all watch this go. Yeah, celebrating getting coal for Yule. Isn't that awesome? I was a naughty Jack. I have to be naughty all year round so I can fuel my solid fuel forge. All right, can we add a little air to the situation? So fire science, right? Fire science is about fuel, heat, and air. Just so happens sparks off of metal, off of steel, are pretty freaking hot. That's because sparks off of steel are basically instant rust. Anybody who's had forge scale pop off of their piece of material while they're forging and land on them will tell you that even when it's not red, it's freaking hot. Wrong glove. Grabbing a glove so I can stick my hand in the fire. But you know what? I don't need to do that. I got pokers. What am I doing? So we got fuel. We got air. Air happens to make fire hotter. So all we're trying to do is get it up to the heat temp necessary to light the coal, or the charcoal. Because the charcoal's heat temp is plenty to light a light up some coke, which I've got plenty of, tons of from the last time I ran the fire. And then from the coke, that is plenty hot enough to get coal going, no matter which coal it is. And since I don't know anything about this coal, other than it is not the pea gravel coal that I'm used to using, both because that's what the Silvers got me hooked on initially, and because, thank you, Stephen and Tia, but also because Since then, going out to the farrier supply, that's what they also keep. Now, was that enough? Yep, I can see. I don't know if you guys can see. I can't zoom in any more than that. I could move the tripod, but I don't know how close I want the... but I can see some charring on the charcoal. And that, throwing some air in it, lights it up. So we're good there. I'm going to knock it so that the air and the charcoal get maximum contact. And if I do this enough, a flame should pop, should erupt. I did start with some pretty sizable charcoal instead of some smaller stuff. If I'd started with some smaller stuff, it would have gone up a little faster, but this will work. I don't ever promise you guys that I'm bringing you edgier seat kind of content. Just authentic content. I'm going to grab a little bit of the coal, almost coal dust, charcoal dust. Keep this party start going. How many of you are hanging out in the Blacksmith Challenge chat group we have on Instagram? If you're not and you want an invite, just let me know. I'll get you in there. I posted a photo from just before I went live. A couple of photos and a video. I had an unusual visitor to my smithy this morning. I know Tia and Steven saw it, possibly, in another place I shared it. I may be pushing too much air through there. All right. I'm going to throw... Hey, Jurgen. Kevin. Hey, Roy. Never forging sandals. That's right. Oh, we have to first make our stock? I couldn't just buy it in that format? No, I'm just kidding. I could obviously make the stock. That may be what I do today too. All right, I'm going to go ahead and lay some Coke on here. I'm pretty sure it's all hot enough to fire up, but I'm not going to put a whole lot on there right now. I got a huge bucket. Every last bit of coal that I had left in the forge coked up while I was not using it. So Roy, for those who joined a little bit later, my wife bought me a box of coal for Christmas. Well, this coal, it claims on the paperwork, it says coal for sale online.com. This is not a paid sponsorship or anything like that. Just she bought it, so I figured I'll look at it. It says blacksmithing and heating coal, 25 pounds. The box, though, says it's 35 pounds, so who knows? I don't know if this is a way anybody should be buying coal, but it was a very fun gift from my wife. And it's definitely not the format I'm used to. I'll show you. Switch back over here. For comparison's sake, let me first show you what I'm used to, which is the pea gravel coal, right? This is what came in the box. Rocks. So we're going to see how they go. I'm curious, very curious. And it literally arrived, I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday. Oh, there's a flame. There's another flame. I don't know if you guys can see the flame or not. Switch back over to this. But I can. I'm starting to hear that glorious sound, Roy. That roar that indicates fuel and air combining beautifully. Much quieter roar than a gas forge. What? Stupid rubber band fell off again. Well, that was silly. Try that again. Now, where did the little doohickey go? It went flying somewhere. Fortunately, I got a spare. This camera's cool. It's a very nice camera, but it really wasn't meant for the use I put it to. And as such, it does present challenges, I should say. The largest of which is you have to do the autofocus shutter on it full time when doing video streaming. So found this. The YouTube is amazing, full of amazing information, right? And found somebody else out there who had realized it can be done. You just have to break out one of these rubber or silicone things for your straw. There we go. That's a better shot. To hold with a hair tie or rubber band or something to that nature to hold the shutter just that much. But it is a tricky situation. All right. Put a couple more pieces of Coke in there, and then I'm going to go ahead and add the coal. Let's see how this works. It is massive pieces of coal, so I can't imagine this is what people would think blacksmithing coal is, but that's because I've never worked with it, so what do I know? I am as ignorant as you can get when it comes to solid fuel forges. Well, blacksmithing in general. I've only been doing it a few years. I'm just real lucky to have folks that are more tenured than me mentoring me online. You know, it dawns on me, Roy. I've been sitting here thinking to myself, it's been a long time since I've seen any how-tos from you, and I missed that. But then I remembered you have such a huge back catalog of how-tos, and when I first watched them, and I did try to watch everything, I didn't know what the hell I was doing yet. Not to say that I do now. And they were very informative and set the right examples to get started. But I think it's probably time, now that I know a little more, to go back and just rewatch that back catalog and learn what I didn't learn the first time. I only put a few pieces of that new coal in there at the moment just so I can watch it. If I put too much in there, which normally I would just pile in coal, right? I wouldn't be able to see how it behaves. This way, at least I'm able to see how it behaves. And from what I'm seeing, it's off-gassing just right. You guys can see that too, right? Let me see. So let me let the flames die. Yeah, you see all the smoke on the right side of the fire there. That's coming off of one of the new pieces of coal. And then, you know, the fire just burns it like any other fuel as much as it can. As it basically off-gasses the things that don't make for the hot fire. Mostly sulfur and a lot of coal. That's what I'm smelling anyway. Good old the black Pete with the coal tar all over his face. For people not in the know, there is a misnomer about Black Pete, or misunderstanding, I shouldn't say misnomer, about Black Pete. in the Netherlands and I think other Scandinavian countries. It was not intended to represent a black person by having a white person in blackface. At least I don't believe it was. I believe it was intended to be coal tar. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. What I'm curious about too, Roy, is to see if it cokes up right. You have not been slacking, Roy. I did not mean to make it sound like that's what I was saying. What I was saying was, this is the facts. You haven't put out that kind of content. And frankly, I suspect, based on other things I've seen you doing, you've been a very, very busy man. So, and hopefully, also based on what I've seen, it's an indication that you've been doing some good stuff with other business ventures related to blacksmithing. You don't keep a Thomas employed if you aren't a busy man doing something with all that time. What did I lose over here? Things fell and moved and okay, so that was a piece of the coal. And I'm still waiting for it to coke. That's a piece of the coal. So far, it's still coal. This live stream may have absolutely no striking of hammer on metal. I don't know yet. Haven't figured that out. I'm not promising that this is going to be the part of blacksmithing people think about most, but this is a part of blacksmithing. You know, you have to source your fuel. You have to learn the properties of your fuel. It'd be good to have a blower that I didn't have to sit here and crank. And now that I've got a really decent power source, I probably can invest in a powered blower. And EcoFlow, if you ever want to have a serious proponent and deal brand deal with me, I would be fully game for that. 3D print a fixture to keep the button down. You know, I hadn't even thought of that, Shane, but you're not wrong. This is something I probably could design a 3D print around if I tried hard enough. It would save me a lot of annoyance. Hey, Daniel. Scrolling back to make sure I didn't miss anybody, and I did. You don't like the big stuff, so you would sit there and break it up. The only reason I'm not doing that right now is I need to learn. I also don't want to spend time trying to break up all that coal. And that's what I'm wondering too, Roy, is if it's anthracite. Soot smudges on their face. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense today. A lot of folks are change my mind. Not going outside. 0 degrees Celsius. Winds gusting 20 to 30. Nope. No, I wouldn't if I were you either. In Texas, right? Is that right? It is Texas. Freezing temperatures in 20 to 30 degrees in Texas. Did your senator bail this time? But folks have power this time? I don't need to create a flame war, so you don't have to answer that. You can ignore my stupidity. Everybody else does. All right. I'm just going to sit here and turn the crank. I mean, it appears to actually be burning. I don't see indications that it's coking, but you know what? I got to do the one thing I forgot. And that's take advantage of the fact that we can improve the odds by wetting the coal a little bit. Maybe. That's what I've heard anyway. I think Adam mentioned it during one of the. I have my doubts because I just cooled it off. What did I say? Heat, fuel, oxygen. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stack some coal behind it, just like I normally do. And then I'll wet that coal. This stuff is just seriously rocks. Lovely, lovely rocks. Let's see if I can catch anything on fire while I'm putting my hands over the flame. It sounds different. All right, stacked up behind it. That way I can rake it forward as I see any indications that we're having. That's the wood. It's making the right sound. I'm going to stack it on its sides. It sounds right. It looks right. I mean, clearly the stuff is acting like fuel. But it doesn't seem to be coking. I may just have to work with it just like that. This will be a new experience. I mean, we got a nice big fire going there, so I'm going to go ahead and relocate the camera. Don't watch the corner if you don't want to get motion sickness. I'll watch the corner though, because that's where all the good stuff's happening for me. All right. Hey, Lisa. Am I not? Yeah, no. Okay, here we go. Da-da-da-da-da. Fireplace for blacksmiths. I could definitely make that. It is, what is the temp here? 38 degrees here. My hands are not happy, but they will be here in a second. Ah, 3 more weeks of winter. Ah. Yep, it definitely looks like anthracite to me. Hey, John. They grow another soil. Take a piece of the green stuff and can easily break it in your hands. It's soft coal, most likely bituminous. Oh, no, definitely not. This is hard stuff. It's hard like a rock. Black sheen. Yep, it has that. That is definitely it. So do I just, I mean, it looks like this stuff is going to be a pain without an electric blower. But we'll see. It goes out fast. Super fast. You saw how big a fire I had. And now I have none of those flames. And I have to pull it back again. Good thing I keep charcoal in the bottom of this thing. But we'll go ahead and straighten up this thing. Let's see how hot it gets. Let's bring it over that way and that way. Hey, look at that. Fire. Am I in the way of the fire now? I'm in the way of the fire. Of course I am. That way. That way. Where'd the fire go? There it is. Still in the way of the fire. Oh well. I would have to move everything around again. I don't know how many times I've rearranged this Smithy to try and get the best view of things for y'all, but I can do it again. I mean, it flames up really well, but it also dies down really fast. So it's like it must be burning off the surface of the rock. And I can understand now, Alexis, why you suggest breaking them up. Otherwise, how do I get my material into the fire? We're seeing if I can do it by just setting it on top. And that's getting it hot. I can see the color already. I can feel my hands warming up on the brand. I might not be too upset about using anthracite, but I wouldn't call it blacksmith's coal. It puts off a good amount of heat. I have a suspicion that this stuff never stops smoking. Unlike the bituminous, which after a while stops smoking because all you got left is the coked up coal. In other words, carbon, I guess. Whereas this stuff, you're burning off layer by layer, I think. But I do think I will hit something with a hammer. So I'm going to need tongs. Grabbing that right now would not be smart. Let's go with this pair. I think. Yes. For the win. Drag these boulders up over my material. It's getting hot. Hot enough to do work with. Just a very unusual, for me, substance to work with. The good news is the coal does seem to be at least breaking up as I use it. I don't know if that means it's coking or if it just becomes a little more brittle as it gets heated. All right. I had it right the first time. Get this area uniform, which it's not currently. All right, that's better. Got a bit here to work on, so let's get that hot. Still not great, but better. Yeah, a lot of sulfur comes out of that. Whew! Eyes are burning. We got a good fire, though. It works. I'm not bitching. It's working. Let's see what you guys got to say. Hey, Gid. Paste. Yeah. Not good for forge welding. Is that so? See, that's what I was wondering about that. Fortunately, like I said, I still got plenty of bituminous work in here. I've got a bunch of coked up bituminous already because I guess the last time I ran my forge, Either it was all coked up by the time I was done, or it continued to cook after I finished my work, because every last bit of the coal that was in there is now coke. So that just means I push back the anthracite, make sure there's no clinkers, throw the coke in there, and then I can forge weld. Look at that black smoke going out. We don't have a pope yet. Oh, wait a minute. Was that white smoke or black smoke? Whatever. All right. Not hot enough yet. Back in the fire. Turn the fire. There we go. We've got lovely sound going on. Kind of a dragon's roar. I just realized you guys are not hearing everything because I have it set up for... Yep, we're going to turn that off. We're going to get rid of that. Say yes. Hit close. It was all configured for the purposes of the gas forge, which makes so much noise. Anyway, so now, Dragon's Roar. Got good airflow there. I'm sure you could hear that. If I stand out of the way, you can even see that. Grab my tongs, and we can feel that. All right. After I got done with this piece, I didn't do any of the finishing to get it into a format that it could be used later. So as I sat there every time I came out here and saw it, I was like, this sucks. Got to do something about that. A lot of my work often looks really rough when I'm done. I'm not proud of that. But, so this year I really would like to get better at making cleaner forgings. And I'm not sure exactly what it takes to make that so. If I were to follow Roy's lead, it would be grab the butcher block brush and give it the cleaning. For those who don't know, I don't think there's anybody on here, but there might be, that doesn't know anything about this stuff. The butcher block brush has some, you would say stainless in some places, but that's got a lot of rust on it, so I don't know if it's stainless. But it is a harder steel than most. It's a spring steel of some sort. And it basically does a little bit of filing work for you while you're here. But it also lets you get in there. Let me see if this catches the light well enough. And you can see bad hammer blows or, just imperfections in the surface finish when it's all said and done. I'd like to get better at that, make fewer of those, or at least clean up when I'm done so that it's not as obvious. Anyway, that's much straighter, a lot less lumpier There are imperfections, but nothing I can be upset by. It's just a hair bit twisted in a couple of directions. I'm going to go ahead and risk it and set the mustache part in the fire so I can clean up this transition here. Let's see if I can do that without burning up the mustache. Come on. Here we go. Fiddling with it to get it in the fire when you have a whole bunch of boulders in your way is not as easy either as with the pea gravel. I'm not upset about this stuff as a fuel, that's for sure, but it definitely takes a lot more patience than the other stuff does. Let's see what we can do here. Probably have to pile up more coal just to cover what I need it to and then throw more air through it to get it to work. All right. There we go. Clear the air ports. For those that don't remember, this forge is a unique one in that it's got a dial-a-tweer on the bottom with basically holes drilled in a pipe, in a, which we would call a tweer. And those holes don't clog up as easily as the the mesh screens do on other things, but, or I should say, they probably clog up just as easily, but they're much easier to clear. Because all you have to do is move whatever's in its way off the hole, and now you're back into forging territory again. I know how to get to keep the mustache curls safe. I just realized it. And that's with some courtesy bends. Hey, Ben. Yeah, I mean, I do. I pretty much let everybody in here as long as they're nice to people. White, black smoke, as long as you're not notifying the election of a new pope, right? Hey, sister. Hey, Christopher. How you doing? Love you, man. And you too, sis. Well, I missed the opportunity to say goodbye to Roy. Hope he's off and doing well. The bristles are somewhat chisel cut, really. In one direction. Not the boy band. No, I never liked my mustaches burning. Chisel cut. No. Coked up, maybe. Yep. Careful what you say now there, Rob. Ben will go off and he's a narc. He'll tell everybody what you said. All right. Let's see if I can get a courtesy bend in here without snapping something. I don't think I got the right part hot to do that, though. Nope. But we can do that pretty easily. We'll just focus the heat in the right place this time. This stuff definitely gets nice and hot. It might even get hot enough. I mean, I don't know why Roy said you couldn't forge weld with it. It looks like it could get plenty hot enough for it. I could be wrong. I haven't sat here with like enough time to find out, but I'm sure I'm burning my retinas or discoloring my lens. Oh, Alexis, you'll love this. I went to the eye doctor to get a new script this week, and my right eye is starting to show mild discoloration, yellowing. And, you know, I'm almost 57. It'll be this month. So the idea that cataracts will come, that's just an old age thing, right? But I asked him specifically about the fact that, you know, I blacksmith, and he's like, yeah, the UV light could be causing you some trouble, but, you know, that's not what I'm seeing here. All right, courtesy bend. For those who don't know what that is, it's get stuff out of your way and then get it back in your way later. So we're going to do it like that, and then we'll do the other one the same way, and that'll allow me to put this into the fire facing up without the mustachios hitting the V walls that cause automatic feeding of fuel. And with that, I'll be able to get this area hot without the risk of burning up this area, which is thin. It's not revolutionary stuff. Nothing I do is revolutionary. Only evolutionary. Then I'm going to take a break from forging. I'm going to actually inspect this coal a little bit. I'm very curious. About its properties. Sis, I am going to do another session, probably this week or maybe next week, where I don't come out here to the Smithy, and it's going to be a design session for your work. My sister has asked me, if you go back to, if you go onto Facebook, you'll see it, with my last live stream. She asked me to create her a stand for a humongous amethyst tooth she has. Amethyst spike. I don't know what the right word is for it, but yeah. And it is. It's huge. And it's beautiful. All right, so I'm going to take a moment to grab a hot piece of coal, because that sounds like a brilliant thing to do, right? We're going to bring it right out here and take a look at it. And we can see that definitely is not what coke looks like to me. I'm going to show coke, folks some coke. First off, it's hot, so I'm not touching it, obviously. But for those who don't know, who've never looked at this kind of stuff, I'm going to show you a side-by-side. Okay. So, let's get that focused nicely. All right, I did have it in the right place. Good. Then we're going to go here. All right. So here we have the stuff I'm used to working with, the bituminous. Here it comes, bituminous can come in various sizes, but here it comes in this pea gravel size. And this pea gravel size, when heated, off gases just like this anthracite did. And I can see layers in the anthracite too, so that's an interesting other way maybe to identify. And I'm pretty certain it's anthracite just by its behaviors. It'll make sense in a second. But anyway, bituminous, when it heats, it off gases, and it then basically becomes like popcorn. It actually expands and becomes super lightweight. This stuff is so lightweight. It's almost unbelievable that I'm actually holding something in my fingers. That's how light it is. Like this stuff weighs at least double what this one, all of it together weighs about double, if not 3 times as much as what this light piece here, poofed up version, weighs. Then there's this, which we can look at it. You can see stratifications in here. It's hard. It may be hard to see on that camera. I honestly can't tell. As a matter of fact, everything just seems foggy to me. So let's see if I can do anything about that fact, or if it's just smoky in here, so everything's going to look foggy. Yeah, it just is what it is. All right. It looks pretty good, though. You can see stratifications in here. In other words, layers. And as Roy had pointed out, it's kind of shiny. It's very rock. This stuff is rock too, but it doesn't sound the same. And you can see that just chipped right off. This doesn't chip so easily. Then there's what it becomes, and that's this, which is really unusual. The heat, as you can see, the heat has gone out of it pretty quickly, but I'm not going to say it's cold. No, it's not cold. Whereas this stuff will stay hot longer. I mean, all coal basically puts itself out without constant airflow. But this stuff, the anthracite seems to go out faster. I'm going to take and do a little chisel work here. I'm going to try not to have it go flying in all directions. Interesting. Yeah, you can see the way the stratifications causes it to be flaky, to come apart in flakes. And that's what's happening in the forge too. This stuff, you can see it crumbles, and it's more like that candy, yellow-orange candy, honey. I can't think what it's called now. In the way that it comes apart. So very different materials, material structure. Let's be clear. Very different material structure for the same material. They're both coal. They're both comprised of pretty much the same atoms, but their arrangement is different. Their internal structure is different. And so we get this really interesting outcome of, let's do it this way, a coal product that is, or, two different coal products. They're both coal, though. And I could tell you, this stuff isn't as hot as you would think, based on the fact that it isn't even making the board that it just fell onto smolder. I'm holding a piece of it in my hand, just broke off of this. There you go. It's not cold, it's also not warm, like burning hot warm of any sort. It could, honestly, If somebody told me this is what coal beds were made of, not charcoal, I'd probably risk walking on them, because that is how fast it cools off. You just saw me have what was glowing red hot in the palm of my hand, because it's not glowing red hot anymore. And the only reason I risk doing that is I have the anvil sitting on the original board it came on, bolted into a stump. And so as soon as a piece of it fell onto the board that it was on, I've seen other things fall on it and cause that board to smolder. This didn't. So I knew I was safe. Always practice good safety. First rule of blacksmithing, all metal. All. I don't care if you've walked into a forge for the first time that day. You don't know that somebody else hasn't been there before you necessarily. All metal is hot. So you ever come visit my forge and you reach down and you pick up a piece of metal, you've already broken the first rule of blacksmithing. All right, let's get this piece hot again. The fire's nearly gone out. So it was John Switzer that taught me a long time ago that you have to keep that fire going by having airflow, or if you got to step away for a few minutes, a piece of wood or charcoal in the bottom of your coal forge. Otherwise, it will go out. Now, I don't know if he was using bituminous or anthracite, but I will tell you, anthracite goes out faster. It is interesting. It does actually cook. It just doesn't coke. It cooks and becomes this flaky stuff instead of popcorn. But it is still lightweight when it's cooked, meaning all the impurities must weigh a lot. Hey, Sarah Simon, my other sister from a different mister. I don't charge for hitting the V-walls with my mustache, Ben. What are you doing? Ben, you'll get there one day too. Nah, there's only one escape from getting old, and I don't like that escape. Hey, Duck. Hey, Goose. I got visitors. Oh. So much oxygen causes it to not be a neutral flame. That makes sense. Okay. It's my cataracts. Yeah, nobody's able to turn off autocorrupt. Black metal hot will make you think about things for a minute. Mainly four-letter worded things. All right, let's get this going. I got a shop kitty today. And right now, I've got a goose and a duck visiting me right outside my smithy, too. Earlier, for those who are not part of a channel that I posted it to, maybe I'll post it later on my Instagram. I had another visitor, a phoenix. That's it. It was a phoenix, fiery phoenix. Get back over here. Need to unblock those air ports. What the heck? Get back here. Well, I will say this. Working with anthracite in this forge is a pain in the tuchus. Trying to get your piece under it when all of the fuel is little boulders. But you really need it under it so that it can, not be sitting on top of the insulating layer of fuel. There we go. So yeah, I could see that. It would be hot enough to forge weld, but it wouldn't ever get a neutral flame, so you'd be just constantly throwing scale on your material. Silver metal caught your sleeve on fire. Wow. Yep, all metal's hot. Wait. What did I do that I'm showing off? Are you talking about me, Ben, or somebody else? Because if you're talking about having all these animals, that's just having a wonderful wife that decided she needed basically her own equivalent of a petting zoo. Yeah. All right. I think I'm just about done with this piece. And that would be just enough time to move on to the blacksmithing challenge work of making my own stock. Yeah, there we go. Let's get the radius right. There we go. That's cleaned up. Use the right tool for the right job. And try not to drop your stuff. Everybody drink. Now I just need to get it centered. That little, I had a weird bump sticking out there, and I wasn't using the right tool for the job. Put that back in the fire. Use the horn again to pull it over there. Let me give you a better view of that horn, because you didn't have a view of that horn. There we go. But by heating that up, we can get that bent in the right direction. Come on. Get out of there. You too. Get out of there. All right. Get that in there. 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 All right. Pull that all in. Let's see what kind of airflow I have. That's where I need it. That's where I'll get it. It's interesting, this stuff breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces as you burn it. I mean, as you burn something, you would expect it to get smaller, but I really mean it breaks into smaller pieces. So, and I didn't have to throw a whole lot of air into that to get what I needed either. Yeah, I don't like it. It heated the wrong area. Dagnabbit. That's good. We're twisted, but I can fix that. But it is now centered. Warm it back up. Get rid of that twist. We're twisted back and forth. That's wild. This area just twisted in one direction, this twisted in the other direction. We'll get her fixed. All right, we're going to let that soak for a second. I'm going to see what you guys are up to. In the tuchus, yes, in the tuchus. It's what happens when you have Jewish grandparents on one side of the family. What else happens is when you have Baptist grandparents on the other side of the family is a whole different story. I'm so glad you could catch this stream too, Dakota. Coffee grinder extra chunky. That's good. So that's another one I have to go fix. I see now I'm still saying every... Oh no, it does say every other. I fixed it. Hey! Don't get your peanut butter in my chocolate. All right, that is all the heat I need to start getting things untwisted. Can I get it untwisted? Let's see. First things first. There's that. That's pretty not twisted. And we'll grab this. You guys can't see. I'm at the favorite position here, and I didn't bring you with me. There's that. This one's so weird how it twisted in strange ways. All right. You guys, I don't know if you guys would be as upset as I am at what I came out to my smithy to find after so much rain. But I'll have to show it to you, and then you guys can all cringe with me instead of near me. I mean, me alone. Yeah, that's it. All right. So first off, this is now straight in here, but as you can see, I now have to stop heating this area up and start heating up in here so I can get it twisted back the other way. So we turn it around. Grab it like, nope, nope. All right, we're grabbing it like that. It's a weird grab, but it's grab. We'll heat her up and give it another twist. Come on. Well, my tongue's going to have to live there forever, I guess. All right, there we go. You definitely cannot spend a whole lot of time yapping when working with anthracite. You got to be at that blower. Keep things a-moving. It's almost like Coke. I mean, it really is. I think one could say that it is Coke. It's just not the same style of Coke. It doesn't popcorn. I really think that this is at a point now where it's not too dissimilar from the other stuff I've ever, the Coke that I've used with the bituminous. Or with the pea gravel, I should say. Because it's super light, it goes out pretty easily. But it heats up real well too. Don't look in the corner if you don't want to have motion sickness. But I figure I'll bring you on over here. Wow, there is definitely... This camera is not happy about being out here. I'm going to have to take this camera in with me. Because no, this is wrong. I'm going to turn it off and we're going to come back to it in a second. There's something wrong here. It should not be like that. Yeah, that's what it is. The mirror itself got steamed up. Or dirty, one or the other. I don't know. We'll see. Let's try this again. Oh, there it is. Turn it back on again. Hit the button again. That looks worse now. Wow. Nope. This camera is definitely coming back inside the house with me because this is not right. Does that make a difference? Ah. It definitely is still better than it was. But it's definitely not behaving the way it should. I may end up having to switch cameras soon. And that's alright. There are other cameras in my repertoire. It's just this one wasn't being used for anything. And it served me for a couple of years now, so it definitely looks foggy. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, that there may be condensation inside. So we're going to take it in the house. We'll put it in a room that has one of those desiccant containers in it, and we'll go from there. But in the meantime, let's see if I can get this twist out of here. Come on, there we go. You know, it hit the ground. It hit the floor. It got low, 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 low. All right. And the twist is up in there. Let's see if we can, if I got the heat in the right place. I don't think I did, to be honest. But is it close enough that I'll be unhappy about it? Yeah, I'm unhappy about it. All right. It needs to be right in there. All right. And while I got you here, I'm going to disgust everybody. Watch this. All right, I am going to give everybody motion sickness with this one. Do, 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 do. I came out to that. Oh, you can't even see it. It's... Where is it? There it is. But because this camera is being the way it is, you can't even see it. That is a what? 30-gallon drum full of my scrap metal, but also apparently watertight, because it is now full of scrap metal that's all rusty, because it has water up to as high as it could go before it hit a hole in the wall over there and leaked out. It is yeah. I'm not happy about that. It is what it is. I will have to drill a hole in the bottom of that container, because honestly I don't have no need for it to be holding water, that's for sure. Oop. In case you guys didn't know what I meant about straw nipple, it's for those metal straws. That's my surrogate finger for the autofocus that has to be constantly pushed for it to behave like a camera. I mean a webcam. All right. Yep. Well, good news, bad news. Good news is I'm sure that this isn't the end of the camera. Bad news is you got 30 more minutes of that camera, 20 minutes, 25 minutes of that camera, so oh well. See. Yeah, that's no good. It's definitely moisture inside the camera or lens or something, because as soon as I put on too much light, the glare is just no good. So no more light in the Smithy today. You'll have to just enjoy me by the weak sunlight, weak Pacific Northwest sunlight, winter sun. I don't need any more of this coal today, so we're going to go ahead and put it down here on top of the coal bucket. All right, there we go. The twist is all out. Yay. And now we put the mustachios back. Hit the floor. This is a day for being well hydrated. What do I see there? Wow, there are so many stress fractures on this thing. They all seem to be skin deep, so it could just be forge scale. Doesn't matter too much. This is not that kind of tool. Let's warm up the mustachios and get them bent where they belong. Forging in the dark. You know, it's funny because a lot of the smithing channels I watched over the course of the couple of years now, they all seem to enjoy that more dark aesthetic for blacksmithing anyway. Ben can die happy now. All right, Ben, we'll get on with it. Oh my goodness. So much fun going on in here. I'm going to have to scroll back and just watch everything. Don't get your anthracite in my coffee. That's right. Dakota. I would stick with a charcoal forge if you're going to do that. I don't think anything tastes very good seasoned with sulfur. I am tripping in my free time. What are you talking about, Ben? Yeah, the rice room. That's where I need to put the lens, the camera. Definitely not just the mirror, no. The boots with the fur. Nice to have that backing track there, Dakota. You know, it's funny because I've been keeping the camera in my shed out here, but yeah, it's probably not immune from condensate, you know, from humidity, and I need to keep what is that? That dry. Oh, come on! I know what it's called. Anyway, I've got a bucket of it next to my 3D printer for the purposes of trying to keep humidity down near that. I need to keep a bucket of it out here in the Smithy. Let's get it started in here. Ben, I'm pretty much as good in the dark as in the light too, but that doesn't mean I was good to begin with. Hey, Seaster, how are you? Other Seaster was here earlier with Christopher. All right. We'll come in here. There we go. One courtesy bend unbent. Let's work on the other one. So far, fingers crossed. No loss. Yeah, actually, Marnie, both Sarahs ended up showing up today. Yeah, it's been a full house of sisters. I just realized you guys didn't see that because I wasn't even pointing in the right direction. Let's fix that. Everybody get your Dramamine. That's okay. Second verse the same as the first. Wow. Yeah. We'll take that inside. We'll open it all up. We'll let it sit in a room that has low humidity. And then we will rethink whether or not I should be leaving the camera out in the... Those courtesy bends worked out perfectly. All right. This thing is ready to handle, as in put a handle on it. That's a much better looking result right in there. We still got a little bit of a twist up in here, but not enough to be too concerned about. It's not quite as lumpy and bumpy. Most things are straight now. Let's see if... All right, folks. I had put a poll up here on Facebook, and I did get some response. I think I got like 6 of you responded to me. I am loved, Marnie. Thank you so much. The reason for the poll is that this channel is evolving. Had a nice conversation the week before last with folks, sharing my thoughts about that. If you didn't catch that live stream, go watch the replay. The poll is just basically, what do we think the name should be of this thing? It's not going to be just Jack Pines Blacksmithing anymore. I will, for Facebook, do, keep Jack Pines Blacksmithing there. But also on Facebook, I have B2P 3D, which, if you guys don't know, my wife and I created an LLC called Between Two Pines. And so B2P3D is one of the ventures, the joint ventures. She's the enabler by getting me the machines to work with. And I'm the one that does the 3D modeling. And let's see, how do we get this in here? So I'm heating up the part I want heated. Let's try that. Try moving the coal on top of that. All right. We're going to try that. We're going to see if that works. So if you haven't been aware of the B2P 3D, and you actually might be interested in seeing the 3D stuff I do, you want to go up and sign up to B2P 3D. Pine Jack will remain basically my blacksmithing stuff on Instagram. Of course, as always, intermingled with other things that I just find entertaining. That'll be up there too. But on Instagram, I also have B2P 3D. So like I said, if you're interested in 3D stuff, 3D modeling, 3D printing, that'll be over there. That's where I'm going to do a session for my my sister Sarah, for her amethyst tooth. It's a really big one. She wants me to blacksmith a stand for her, and so I need to start drawing up something that would actually, I'll take in her the photos of her amethyst, some dimensions of it, and start thinking about what the stand will look like, what material I will need to be able to make the stand, things like that. And that I plan on doing over on the 3D channel, because it'll be done in CAD. I'm not gonna, there's a part of me that thinks I might go ahead and 3D print a stand just as a form that I can refer to as a prototype, and then come out and blacksmith the thing that I draft up. All right. Well, Kevin, I finally have this rake to a point where I feel it's worthy of considering done, and just needs to be handled. So the next project for this will be to create a handle and forge weld it on there. It may actually be too big. Looking at it, thinking about the forge that it needs to go into, it may be too big. Too wide, that is. If that's the case, I can always trim off some of the mustache and scroll a little bit more. So, we'll see. But I'm going to leave that alone, call that done. We're just going to throw it on the ground, and that's why we say the first rule of blacksmithing is all metal is hot. All right. Now I can stand here and just chat with you guys for a little bit. Let the fire go out. I could try to take 10 minutes and do something with the reapportioning of material for the blacksmith challenge, but I don't feel like doing that at the moment. Instead, I want to just see what you guys have been chit-chatting about. I have a whole bunch of those do not eat. Yep, because 3D printing, you put them in with a vacuum pack Ziploc to help prevent any moisture left in the bag from affecting the filament. Silica gel, yeah, that's kind of stuff. But what I'm thinking of is, and I don't know why I can't think, damp rid. If I just, I keep a bucket of damp rid right next to my 3D printer just to keep the humidity that might be in that area down a little. And I probably should keep a big bucket or two out here in the steel barn, as my wife calls it. Like, it's all closed, but that doesn't mean humidity doesn't get in through, all the places that humidity can get in for it to not be a completely sealed area. Uh-oh. Well, I hope you are not in the hospital anymore, and feeling better, Marnie. I just rolled back and saw that. Yeah, I mean, at minimum, I could throw a whole bunch of those silica gel packets in the camera bag. So when I bring the camera bag in today, I will do that. What are you talking about? That's the forbidden candy. Rob, they look very appetizing. Yeah, a mini stash. Well, see, the thing is, I still have this one, Kevin, which I think looks absolutely beautiful. So, at minimum, what I can do is just take it into my garage and pull out the welder that I haven't used in forever and just weld on a rod. It'll definitely do the trick. It is much smaller. It's actually much prettier. Um, but yeah, rearranging the garage to be able to do anything is always a pain in the ass. I mean, in the tuchus. What I really want isn't a bigger forge, Jeff. What I want is a table forge. Now that I've worked with this one, which was intended to be a charcoal forge, a raw wood forge, dried wood. Its V shape is to allow the wood to char up on the bottom edges of it and break off and become charcoal into your forge. And that's a really brilliant idea. But when it comes to doing, larger scroll work, it basically, this V forge is basically just a blade forge. I don't mean to make that sound derogatory, but its intent is for long, straight things. It's not very great for things that aren't straight. Just like, a lot of propane forges aren't that great for anything that isn't straight. Can I do, coffee scoops and spoons and all kinds of things like that? Yes, no problem, and I will do that. But the more I've used this forge, the more I've used it, the more I realized the length didn't serve me in the least bit. I could have gotten the small one that was like a third or half the size of this one, and it would have worked just as well for everything I do. And anytime I want to do something large like this, which still isn't done, I have to have a torch, which I'm working on getting that taken care of too. The problem I have, for anybody who's not, heard me complain about this in the past, is I knew a while ago I needed a torch. So when somebody put up on, I don't know, Facebook Marketplace or something like that, this kit, I snapped it up. But this kit's runs out of juice. I think it lasts me maybe 20 minutes. And my understanding is you go through the air, and it's always the oxygen, and you go through the oxygen twice as fast as you go through the acetylene. So, I mean, I've already got the cable, the torch, but what I really need are bottles that actually hold enough oxygen that I won't use it up within one session and have to go fill up again, and then use it up in another session and have to go fill it up again. So that's the deal with that. And so what would fix a good chunk of all of this is not have to use a V-shaped, or in other words, a forge that was designed for blades. And when I bought this is a Whitlock's forge, and I'll be happy to, to tell anybody that this is a great forge. I've really enjoyed using this forge. But they didn't, there's nothing about what they say on their site, as far as I know, that indicates that it's a blade forge. But every indication about it is it's great for long straight things, and this one really would be best for making a sword. So act cool, he's reading now. So what I really would like to get is a table forge, you know, and that's hopefully coming sometime later in the year. First, I need to be employed. There's, I'm supposed to be starting a contract soon, but until I start day one, you can't believe it, because contracts are even easier to cancel than basically telling an employee that just got hired full time, permanent, that that permanent part was not so true. So I have to wait and see what happens there. Have a fantastic week, Dan. Thanks for stopping in here and hanging out with us. Love it. Be safe. Don't get into any trouble. But yep, this has been a lot of fun, learning how anthracite works and hanging out with y'all as I do so, sharing my learnings in real time. It's always fun to do, and I appreciate y'all hanging out with me, and I look forward to seeing y'all in about 2 weeks. If you've got a chance, go check out the survey, put in your vote. Right now, it's the longest name is the one that's winning. And so if that's what everybody thinks is a great name that describes the kind of stuff I'm going to do, which is I'm going to sit here and continue blacksmithing. But when I'm not blacksmithing, I won't be streaming to the blacksmithing channel on Facebook. Instead, I will switch over to the B2P3D on Facebook. But this YouTube channel will always be any kind of things I'm making, whether it's blacksmithing, or it's 3D CAD, or it's 3D printing, or it's Legos, or any other type of making thing that I end up getting myself around to. That's what YouTube's going to be about. Just because I want to continue to do all the making things I like to do, and I would like sharing it with you guys, with friends, with family, with anybody who happens to come and drop by. Dakota, I hope you're finding friends amongst the others here. So see y'all in about 2 weeks, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be a 3D CAD session to see about what it is I'm going to make for my sister. Turn it into a 3D print as a model, a prototype, bring out here to the Smithy, and then figure out what materials I would need to actually accomplish that goal. So until then, love and light, everybody.